Dennis, let me press back on you, partly just so we can clarify this issue. It's not that I don't agree, it's that I want to frame the other side of this, right? And so I'm going to be Qatar for a moment. And
Hmm.
the Qataris are going to say, well, look, I thought you Americans wanted to have good Muslims instead of bad Muslims. I thought that you Americans didn't like ISIS and Al Qaeda. You don't like people flying into your buildings. You like people who do business with you and have trade with you. And that's why you've been trading with places like China for the last 40 or 50 years. You don't agree with their political system, but you think that trade is a way for people who don't agree to find common ground. And so, if we give money to your universities, we're helping your students get an education. We're helping fund important research that benefits America. And if we get involved in AI, well, we're pushing AI forward, and isn't that the future of humanity? And we are, in a sense, doing our part. Islam has been a kind of backward part of the world for a long time, but now we want to come to the forefront of it and be alongside you in this great revolution of AI and robotics. So, why are you making us the bad guy when we're trying to be the good guy?
So I would answer your question with a question before I could give you the answer. So, Mr. Prime Minister, what's in it for you?
Well, I would answer what's in it for me is the same as is in it for you, which is to say, why do you make AI investments if not to ultimately move the technology forward, benefit your citizens, make a bunch of money? We want to do the same thing. These are investments. We have all this oil money. We're willing to put it to use to advance technology to the common benefit of humanity. Of course, we get something out of it. We're not claiming we're being global philanthropists here, but neither are you.
All right, I'll tell you what. What about I'm gonna press you, Mr. Prime Minister, to really see if your interests are in the right space. Because if we're really going to be partners, we have to sort of be on the same wavelength on everything, not just AI. So, what about for every mosque that I put up in America, you put up a church? I want to invest in Qatar. I want to start putting up churches. I want the people of America to be able to go to your beautiful place. I mean, what a beautiful city Doha is. Let's have it this way. Let's make it so this way my folks don't have to register with you and be careful about when and how and if they pray. Let's do a one to one. I'll give you a mosque, you give me a church, and you got to let all my people go and pray to Jesus Christ in the middle of the street. You do that, then you show me that you want to be a real partner. And I guarantee you, you know what they're going to do? They're going to hang up the phone, Dinesh.
Yeah, no, they sure are. But I'm going to continue the argument because I just want to think aloud here, and my answer would be this. It
Mhm.
would be, all right, Mr. Trump. You're, by the way, you're Trump, and I'm the Emir of Qatar. I would say,
I'd rather be President Lynch.
well, there you go. You can President Lynch. Maybe not the most fortunate name for a president, but nevertheless, we'll go with it for now. President Lynch. Uh, well, I would say that uh, we in the Islamic world have a certain substantive idea of what kind of society we want. We actually want Islamic societies, and Islamic societies operate by Islamic rules. This is the Islamic world, and so we obviously, any people obviously has the right to create for themselves whatever kind of society they want. We've chosen to have an Islamic society, which means that there are going to be some limitations on people building churches. Not that there are no churches, but the churches have to be, you can say, subordinate to Islam. All right, now you in the West have decided not to do that. You've decided to have separation of church and state. You have all these court rulings that say you've got to be neutral between different religions. That's not our choice. We didn't make you do that. You chose to do that yourself. And so you have created a liberal society which operates according to certain freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom of association. Now, when we come to your countries and buy mosques, we pay for them. We buy the land. There may be a church that's empty. We buy that church. we revitalized it and put 800 Muslims in it when before there were only 37 Catholics going every Sunday. So you're complaining to me about a problem inside of your own society, which is that you have created these rules. We are playing by your rules. We agree, when in Rome, do as the Romans. So when you come to Qatar, you have to live by the Qatari rules. We are living by the American rules, and you seem to be upset about it.
Well, the first thing I would say to you, Mr. Prime Minister, is that a lot of your people come over
Hold on,
here.
I'm not the Prime Minister. I'm the Emir. I'm sort of like a dictator. Whatever I say goes. The Prime Minister would be a big downgrade for me because I have the right to chop people's arms off. I've got a lot of privileges that maybe you, President Lynch, would like to have in America, but you don't have them, and that's your own fault. That's because you signed up for this constitutional republic where you got to have due process and a whole bunch of nonsense that, frankly, we don't tolerate here in Qatar.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny you're saying that, Mr. Amir. I mean, if you knew that the issues that I'm getting from the left because I want to bomb some drug boats, you're nailing it. But let's get to the crux here. When the problem I have with you coming over here and setting up shop is that I know ultimately that you do not come here because you have a love of America. Now, I'm all for immigration, and I'm all for people who want to come here because they see the opportunity that America provides everybody and anybody. But I just don't see your people acting in good faith, to be quite honest. In fact, every time you send somebody here, either they are stealing from me, they're lying to me, they're marrying their brother in order to get in here, and then, of course, when I'm not looking, they're practicing Sharia law, and then they're in the streets saying how there is that they're going to take over America. And so, when I'm not crazy about the Russians, I'm not crazy about the Italians. I'm an Irish guy, but I've never had a Jew, I've never had an Irishman, I've never had somebody from Sweden come over, and the first thing they say to me is that they're going to take over my country from within. So to be honest with you, I do not trust you folks. I don't need your money. I happen to be a very, very well-off country. Even though I'm borrowing too much, I'm going to change that around. Here's the thing. If you really want to show me who you are and what you believe in, and you won't let me open up churches, that's still something I'm going to put a side eye to. But here's the big problem. What about we start off with right now? Just sign the book here. Just sign it. Muslim Brotherhood is a terrorist organization. Let's start with that. You willing to do that?
Well, I think I'm going to pull out of the conversation for a moment here because I think there you sort of have the Qataris. Well, let me put it differently. If I were to truly answer your question, I would have to go full taqiyya on you.
That's right, would.
I would have to somewhat disguise my true motives because I think we both know the answer to that question. When I first came to America around 1980, I had $500 in my pocket. That's it. Now, if I'd been really frugal and not spent a penny of that money, what do you think it would be worth now? What could it actually buy now compared to what it could buy in 1980? Well, the answer, less than $130. Now, why is that? Because the U.S. government, through the Fed, is constantly printing money and devaluing your money. When the government prints money, there's more money chasing the same amount of goods and services. So guess what? Money goes down in value. Money buys less. The Fed has been at it since 1913. That's why a dollar today can buy just what a few cents could buy in 1913. And the government continues to print oceans of money. It really never stops. Now, an ounce of gold reached a high of $850 in 1980. It's worth now around $3,900 an ounce. So historically over time, we see gold has gone up and up in value. Dollars have gone down and down. And what about in the last 12 months? Gold is up over 40%. I believe now is the time to find out how you can diversify your savings with gold and silver. And this is why I've partnered with Goldco. They offer the best customer service for precious metals ownership. They are also the only gold dealer that offers a first-time gold buyer rebate of up to 10% in bonus silver on qualified purchases. There's no better offer out there, so take advantage. To learn more about how to safeguard your savings from the dollar's decline, go to dineshgold.com. Very simple, easy to remember, dineshgold.com.